Can you hear me now, I see? Yes, sorry, I had the microphone off. Okay, thank you. This is going to be very interesting. So I'll just repeat for the people that are in YouTube and Facebook that didn't hear me because I had my microphone off. Today we will be talking about how to use the tech pack to cost your garments. And so what I'll do is that I will list first the key sections of the tech pack that we need for costing, and then I will briefly explain how to use this information to gauge if we need to make any changes to meet your profit margin. All right. So before we even think about bulk producing a garment or a full line, we need to develop it. So that means that we need to make it for the first time, the first pattern, the first sample, and the first fit. And that said, sorry, I'm just seeing if you guys have any questions. That said, when you're planning your line and you have your sketches in front of you, you need to make a production budget for each style in front of you. And the best way to have a clear picture of what each garment costs and if you can make a profit at your estimated retail price is by making a list of each component needed to make that specific garment. This is where the tech pack comes in handy, both to list and organize each component per style. So now I'm gonna go ahead and list the 3 sections of the tech pack that are important for costing. Number 1 would be the BOM, which stands for Bill of Materials. And what this is that it's a chart that breaks down trim, fabric, lining, interlining, closures, labels, packaging, as well as suppliers for each one. The amount needed, the fabric yield, which is the amount of fabric a specific garment in the sample size takes to make, and the cost for each component. All this information is gathered from your first development sample. This will allow you to understand the cost of your garment before your first fit, which will let you then gauge during the early stages of development if any of the components need to be changed to meet your bottom line. This is why it's very important to make, as we mentioned before, your first fit in the bulk production fabric and trims when possible. Hi. So number 1 was the BOM, the Bill of Materials, and that will help you get basically the cost of the overall garment for what we just mentioned. Hi, PC Fashion. Do I have examples to show online? You mean of the garments that we produced or a specific tech pack? Because at the end of this presentation, what I do is that you can reach me at the link below at makersrow.com, Nicole-Melendez, and then I give a giveaway of what we talked today so that you have a visual of what we talked about. Tech pack. Yes, I do have an example. You reach out to me at the end of this and I'll be happy to give you a sample. So 3 key sections that we discussed. We discussed the first one, which is the BOM, which is it breaks down all the components from your garment and costs your garment before your first fit. And the reason why is very important to make your first fit in bulk fabric and trims when possible. You're very welcome. Point number 2 is construction detail sheet, or you can use a cutter's must. And what these 2 sheets highlight are labor and therefore the cost of it. So the factory or the product development team making your line will look into this and gauge the labor, or as we call it, the CMT, which stands for cut, make, and trim. Now, this is important that you have a price that you're looking to pay to produce each garment that meets your bottom line. But these documents, the construction sheet or the cutter's must, are important so that you can sit down and negotiate with the factory a number that works for both ends. The factory labor cost will depend on the amount of garments you are producing and or if a factory can make your garments on demand. But you have to negotiate that with them. And it is important that you get a few quotes, I would suggest, and talk candidly with your factories. So you see if you can negotiate the amount of garments you want to make, or if the construction can be changed to meet the cost of labor you're looking to pay. So it's very important that you build that relationship with them. I see there is a question here. Oh, thank you, Angie. Yay, medical gowns. I'm glad it fits. Bridge over waters. Should you start with how much you want to sell the garment and then work backwards? Correct. That's part of the presentation that I'm doing. I'm going to list first the 3 points that you need to look in your tech pack that will help you cost your garment, and then we'll talk about how we're going to work that backwards. Okay, so it is important to mention, though, that not all tech packs have the cutter's must, but since my business is a technical design hub, the cutter's must, it's included in the tech pack that we make for you. Looking for factory recommendations. Hi, Maria Seacrest. Looking for factory recommendations in other parts of the country or outside the USA. I live in Los Angeles. Maria, Makers Row and everything that Makers Row represents is about made in the USA. So, and they have a vast amount of options within the USA. If you need recommendations for outside of the USA, we can talk about it, but you can reach me at makersrow.com/Nicole-Melendez, but I strongly suggest that you go through Makers Row because there are amazing manufacturers and product developers there. Procedure 7, can I start a perfume line with you? No, I do. I specialize in apparel, both men and women. I don't do perfumes, but I suggest that you look into Makers Row and reach out because you may actually find a manufacturer that might help either with your creating the bottle itself or the packaging and maybe the perfume. I wouldn't know. Bridge over water's vast amount of options for costing. Do I specialize in maternity wear or undergarments? I have definitely made those in the past, so you can reach out to me. You can definitely talk about that. Marketing solutions. You're very welcome. So that brings me to, so let's recap real quick what the 3 key sections of the tech packs are for costing. First was we talked about the BOM, which is the bill of materials. Basically, this starts to break down every component in your garment. We gather all this information from your first development sample. And basically allows you to understand the cost of your garment before the first fit. You can make any changes there, but it's very important you make your first fit sample in the bulk fabric and trims. Number 2 was the construction detail sheet, or you can use the cutter's must. They're 2 different sheets, but you can use them because they highlight labor, and that way you can negotiate your cut, make, and trim cost with your factory using these 2, or you can sit down and you can negotiate with either the amount of garments that you're going to make or if the construction needs to be changed to meet what you're looking to pay for your garment. And number 3, last but not least, is the cut ticket sheet. So this cost ticket sheet, it breaks down the amount of garments per size per color. Sounds like a lot, but this one is important for understanding your total cost, your total production cost, taking into consideration all colorways for one style. And so this one is important for your understanding, your total production cost, taking into consideration all colorways for one style. Here you consider what your size range, what size you will be developing, whether it's alpha sizing, which is extra small to extra large. If you're doing plus, that would be 1X to 4X. Or if you will do numeric sizing, which is 0 to 18. Or if you're doing plus, it's 12W to 24W. And the quantity per size, as well as how many colors per style you will be using. That it's a lot of information, but all that is found in the cost ticket sheet. So just to recap that, because that was a lot. So it was the size range, and I, it was either alpha or numeric, the quantity per size, as well as how many colors per style you will be using. So if you have a t-shirt, how many sizes in that t-shirt, how many amounts within each size, and then in what colors are each going to be made in. So all that's going to be in the cut ticket sheet. And this will allow you to calculate, which is the reason why it is important, the amount of bulk fabric you need to get to meet the amount of garments you want to produce and how much this will cost you. So I'm going to go, I think, does every factory, Isabel, hi Isabel, does every factory expect you to negotiate? They don't expect you to negotiate. I mean, they can work with you, but they need to review basically what is the construction of this garment, and you already have an estimated retail price that you're working backwards to be able to meet that estimated retail price. So basically that means that you have already accounted for how much you want to pay to make this garment. Therefore, you have a number that you would like to meet. So you have to have that negotiation with them. If not, you would have to be able to meet whatever cost they give you, then you would have to take away from other numbers within that list, like your cost of fabric will need to come down, your trims, your design maybe needs to change to be able to meet the number that you already have as your estimated retail price. Hope that answers your question, Isabel. So like an assortment sheet. Very similar to it, but then it has everything that I have with costing. Hi, Natasha. We're talking about tech packs for costing garments. How to use tech packs for costing garments. Does the factory determine the amount of bulk fabric needed to order? Hi, Sydney. Does the factory determine the amount of bulk fabric needed to order based on the number of pieces you request to produce? Your marker, usually you use your marker to get a yield, and from the yield you can calculate the amount of fabric needed to make a specific garment. So the factory can help you calculate that for sure, but you would need certain things, and I suggest that you do this with your factory. That way it becomes a conversation and it's not that your factory is telling you. So I hope that answers your question, Sydney. Hello, I make my own garment but never know how much I should charge. Madame Kukularu. Hello, I make my own garments but never know how much I should charge myself for labor. Why don't you reach out to me directly at Nicole-Melendez in Makers Row, and we can talk about further, because I'm not really sure I understand your question. So going back to what we were talking about, the 3 points discussed highlighted how to cost the garment as a whole, the cost of labor, and the cost of the bulk fabric per color, so you can calculate the cost of fabric per garment. And once you have all this information, you're asking yourself, how will I be using it once I have all this listed? So this is where you see if your estimated retail price is realistic to the materials and labors needed to meet your design, or if something needs to be changed, whether that is the retail price or the design itself. So what you do, like I was mentioning earlier, is that you work backwards by costing your garments and decide if you will be selling wholesale or direct to consumer. Sorry. Bridge over waters, t-shirt 1 year per shirt. This helps with knowing how much fabric you need. Correct. Is this recorded, or is there a way to get the notes afterward? Phoebe, this actually is saved at the IGTV and Makers Row, so you can see this as many times as you need, or you can also reach out to me and I'll be happy to go over it with you and discuss any questions that you have. Okay, Phoebe, drive safely, but yes, you can rewatch this, like I said, via IGTV, or you can just reach out to me at makersrow.com/Nicole-Melendez. Hi, Yohas. Hi, Nicole. Do you have a lot of experience with swimmer and water apparel for women's, men's, and children? Women's and men's specifically, yes. I specialize in swim, ready-to-wear, and athleisure. We can sit down and discuss what you mean by water apparel, if we're talking about a specific textile, or is it the lifestyle that, you're designing for, but for sure it's something that we can help you with. You're very welcome. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll break down briefly using the direct-to-consumer model. And the way you do that is by adding your cut, make, trim, or your factory labor, plus materials, plus labels, plus packaging, and then that will give you the cost of the garment. This number is then multiplied by the markup, which is a number suggested between 1.5 to 2.6, depending on the profit margin that you want to make. And then this way you can get the estimated retail price, but that's for direct consumers only. So just to recap real quick, we talked about the people that joined later on, and for our friends on YouTube and Facebook, which I have the microphone off. We're talking about tech packs for costing garments. We discussed how my business is a technical design hub, and we help bridge the communication gap between concept and sample. And we make everything and anything from pattern making, tech packs, graded specs, fit development, construction, and anything technical design related. Then we broke down the 3 key sections of the tech pack that are important for costing. That was the bill of materials, the construction detail sheet or cutter's must, and you can use either or, and the cut ticket sheet. And those 3 points highlighted how to cost the garment as a whole, the cost of labor, and the cost of the bulk fabric per color, so that you can calculate the cost of fabric per garment. And then we broke down basically how to work backwards and get your estimated retail price, which, to just run by it really quickly, is adding everything in your list, which should be your factory label, materials, labels, plus packaging, and that gives you the cost of garment. That number is multiplied by our markup. That could be a suggested number between 1.5 to 2.6, depends on the profit margin that you want to make, and this will give you your estimated retail price for direct to consumer only. One more question. Who makes the BOM? The manufacturer. I've had in the past the tech pack. That your technical designer makes your BOM. Your technical designer or whoever works on your tech pack should make your BOM before they hand you the final tech pack. Does that include the shipping? No. Shipping you add later on at a retail stage. Do you have access to companies that have not used their entire bulk fabric that independent designers can purchase at lower cost? I personally don't have one in the top of my head, but you can definitely reach out to Makers Row and talk to a few manufacturers to see if they can redirect you regarding that. Also, reach out to me here in the link below at makersrow.com/Nicole-Melendez, and we can talk further about that, Joshua McKinley. Do you have a direct website? The pin isn't working. Kalipi, I'm sorry, it's not working. If you have a pen and paper, you can reach me at makersrow.com/Nicole-Melendez. And Melendez is Melendez. How do you calculate retail pricing? What is the percentage? Hi, Maria. I can talk about that really briefly. Retail pricing, we discussed that. We discussed the direct to consumer only, and that was adding all the lists from your BOM. So factory label, materials, labels, and packaging. That'll give you the cost of the garment. And then multiply that by the markup. Multiply that by the markup, which is the number, is between 1.5 to 2.6. You need to work with that. And then you'll get the estimated retail price for direct to consumer only. If you're doing wholesale, that's a whole different ballpark. Let me see if I'm missing any questions here. Hi, Natasha. We're a technical design hub, and we specialize in technical design. We do everything and anything from pattern making, tech packs, graded specs, fit development, construction information, everything design related. Hope that answers your question. But you can also reach out to me at makersrow.com, Nicole Melendez, right here in the pin below. Just look at the bottom of your screen, and we can talk more about what we can do for you. Very welcome, Steph. I don't know if there's any more question. Any more questions regarding costing tech packs? Lendra, do I have experience with fully fashion knitwear? I do, actually. I have corporate experience designing fully fashion knitwear, so reach out to me and we can talk further. Yes, Elle, yeah, reach out to me with your business plan, and we can talk further about how we can help you. We can help you develop fit, tech packs, patterns. Yes, anything that you like. All right, so guys, we've gone a little bit over, so our time is up. But like I said, reach out to me and we have today a giveaway of everything that we talked today. So you can take home real life examples of what a bill of materials is, of what a cutter's must is, and what a cut ticket sheet looks like. So you have a physical examples of what we talked about today. And I hope that the points discussed today helped understand how to use a tech pack for costing, which not only keep each style component organized, it also allows you to understand what each component costs and make smart decisions regarding your bottom line while helping you keep healthy relationships with your suppliers and factories. Sorry, I was going through some questions here. Elle, just reach out to me because I cannot go through a process for a business plan in a live event, but reach out to me and we can help you go over that. You're very welcome. Thank you. So thank you for tuning in at Makers Row and the Embark Live platform. And make sure you click on the link and join. Here you will find many experts that are available to help you bring your product to market, like myself. So you can reach out to me via the Makers Row site. Makers Row, I can't seem to email you. Can you please let us know how to connect for info? Thank you. PCC Fashion. I can seem to email you. The link, Makers Row, you should be able to reach me at /Nicole-Melendez. If you can't, what we can do is that after this live, we can connect via Makers Row. I will save this live and send me a message and I'll connect directly to you. Thank you. Thank you, Al. Yes, Bridge Over Waters. Absolutely terrifying to consider these steps alone. Thank you for professional advice. You're very welcome. That's what we're here for. So, guys, we've gone a little bit over, but thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you cannot reach me at makersrow.com/Nicole-Melendez, I will save this at the IGTV, and you can definitely message me through there. Thank you.